Hello, hello. Hi, welcome to this live episode of Soul Talks with Esme. We are live streaming live on YouTube channel, Happy Soul Evolution, and on my two Facebook pages, Esme Greg and Intuitive.Esme Greg, which is my business page. Please follow me there. Thank you for you guys that are joining me live. Please say hi in the comments. Thank you. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. And I also appreciate you if you're watching the replay. I appreciate it if you share the link. Let me see if you can share the Facebook link or even the YouTube link. It would be awesome. And I'm just checking my lighting. I don't have a guest today, so I didn't do the light check before going live. But I'm so excited to have you guys here. And again, so welcome to today's, this week's Soul Talks with Esme, how to reunite with your soul. Let me tell you about this show. Soul Talks with Esme is an online talk show where high conscious topics are discussed with the intention to share uplifting stories, topics that are positive and help us in our growth and help us heal and consciously move forward on in our journeys to what I like to call a happy soul evolution. So let me see you guys here in the comments. Sorry, I only have one screen. So, hey, okay, hi, I see you. Hey, Dua from in Jordan, thank you for being here. Martha, Anisha, Zion, thank you guys. And thank you everybody else that's here. I appreciate you. Yeah, so it's a little weird talking to myself. So please, I appreciate your comments and your questions. And yeah, so I don't know why I picked this topic. I think it's because I think it's a very good topic to get started with. It's how to reunite with our soul. I think if we've been feeling disconnected or unhappy with our lives, I remember for years just knowing deep within that there has to be more to life than this. Waking up 5:30 or 6 in the morning, getting dressed, rushing, getting my son ready, rushing to get to work, where maybe there was some fulfillment, but like you know what I mean. Like it's almost like most of us are going there for the paycheck, and that's a great reason to go to work. We all need money to sustain our lives, but we all know that there's people out there that are very happy and living their purpose and living their dream, and why can't I do that type of thing. So if you've been feeling that, obviously it's normal. We've all been through that. Let me say hi in the comments. Yes, my soul picked the topic today. Yes, thank you. You're right, Martha. And hi, Anna in Greece. Thank you. Evkaristo, thank you for being here, and I appreciate you liking the topic. Hi, Sujan. Nice to see you here. And thank you, everybody else that's watching and is too shy to say hi. And oh, I see you, Stacy. Thank you. I see you on YouTube. That's cool. I can see all the comments. Some of you guys have asked me what tool I use. I use StreamYard. It's very cool. You can stream to different places and you can read the comments. So yeah, highly recommended. So yeah, so let me take a break to drink some water. So going to the topic. Okay. So let me talk for a few minutes, and then if you guys have anything to add, please say it in the comments. I would appreciate it. Hey, Mittal, thank you for joining us. Thank you everybody for being here. I'm so excited. Hi, Olivia. Okay, thanks for saying hi. That way I know you guys are here, and I truly appreciate it. Oh, my niece in Colombia. Hola, Tatiana. Mua. Un día de estos te hago un video en español. My niece in Colombia, Tatiana. Yay! So let's go back to the topic. Thank you for everybody for being here. And so how to reunite with our souls. I did this. I went through this process. I mean, I'm still in the process. And so, okay. Hey, I have to say hi to my brother in Colombia. Hola, Cristian. Besitos. Gracias por estar aquí. Okay. So, you know, our souls, so let's just start with basics. So this is what I've learned. And let me just give a little disclaimer. You know, I've been reading, learning about this topic, you know, for quite a few years, maybe 15, maybe a little bit more, but really seriously and in depth, you know, for at least for about 8-10 years. And so, you know, my disclaimer is obviously I'm not a professional counselor. And so if you're dealing with very, you know, dark feelings and all these things, please, you know, seek medical advice. There's life coaches, there's spiritual healers, there's energy healers, there's counselors. And so just, this is not medical advice in any way. I did for a while have medical advice, and I did seek professional counseling, which helped. And actually, a doctor that I had after I went to the emergency room one time, because I was taking medicine for depression because I thought I was going through depression. And so the doctor that was seeing my son to give him ADHD medication for attention deficit, that's a whole different topic. But anyways, I remember there was a poster there, and basically it was like the symptoms of depression. And as I read it, I was like, wow, maybe I have depression. And I just said it to him. He's like, okay, let's just make an appointment. And I just showed up the next time and filled out a questionnaire, and he just prescribed me, seriously, like 5 medicines. One of them was for depression. I can't remember what it was. And then one was like to be able to go to sleep, because that medicine may not allow me to go to sleep. And then one was in case I needed, I don't know. It was like, there was no way I was going to take all that stuff. So I think I only started taking 2. Anyways, long story, after a few months, I started feeling palpitations. One time I came home from work and I was just like, really, I thought I was having a heart attack. So I called 911. My son was about 5 years old, and my neighbor came over when they saw the ambulance. I was okay. It wasn't a heart attack. It was just side effects from all that stupid medicine. The reason I'm telling you this, and that was like 10 years ago. The reason I'm telling you this is because those were symptoms I was having, right? And for some people, yes, the medication is important. So I'm not saying it's not. I think for me, it was too much. And the doctor that saw me in the emergency room, Dr. Patel, she was very sweet and very kind. And she just looked at me and she said, so do you think you have depression? Do you think you need this medicine? And I said, no, not really. I think I'm sad because my boyfriend broke up with me. Right? And she said, okay, does the medicine help you? And she said, that's a valid reason to feel like that. And And she just said, how about you just try minimizing the dose and see how you feel? And then she said, have you tried meditation? I said, here and there a little bit, you know. She's like, well, you know, maybe try a little bit more and also try getting some exercise, because I had told her I wasn't getting daily exercise. Guess what, guys? I started going on walks because that was the easiest thing I could do with my son. He would ride his bike and I would go for a walk in the neighborhood. And yeah, and I started practicing more meditation. I was using the Deepak and Oprah like 20-day, 21-day meditation challenges, things like that, and just videos on YouTube. I didn't know what I was doing. I was saying mantras and Om and Ra and this and that, and I didn't know what I was saying. All I know is that it helped me just be still and be quiet. Wow, I wasn't planning on sharing all of that. But the reason these things are important is basically, I think now I understand what was happening, and this probably is what may be happening with you, is that, you know, it was just a disconnection with my soul, right? I had lost connection with who I was. And I knew it. And it was causing me a lot of sadness. And, you know, and I didn't have anybody else to blame it on, you know? I didn't have a husband. Well, I did. I had just gotten divorced. And then, you know, it was just, there was just always something missing that I couldn't find through somebody else. Even as much as I love my son, and as much as I know he really loved me when he was little, now he's a teenager, I don't know. But I mean, I know he loves me, but you know, teenagers are different, but he was very affectionate, is what I mean. And, and even knowing that love of a parent, which I think is the truest form of love when you can experience it, I still felt unlike myself. I felt like something was missing. I felt unhappy. I felt unfulfilled. And so, yeah, so if you're feeling like this, you know, I think that's that disconnection with our soul. And just to give a kind of some generic definitions, okay? So definitions. So nowadays, to be more, you know, widely accepted, you know, in more common terms, we use the word consciousness. You know, like even Eckhart Tolle calls it consciously. And it's more of a scientific way of looking at it, and it's more acceptable. And it's good. So we can say consciousness. I just use the word soul because I like that it's short. And, you know, it kind of has like a deeper meaning to me. But I think soul, spirit, consciousness, you know, it's kind of interconnected. The other day I was watching a video. Deepak Chopra was explaining that really, and this is what I believe, again, this is just from what I've learned in my research. So I highly suggest that you follow and do your own research and, you know, learn from masters and teachers, right? So I'm just sharing what I've learned and what has helped me. And so soul, the way Deepak Chopra explained it is, basically it's like we have two souls. And one is basically us, you know, who we are. And then there's more of a universal soul. And the way I understand it, so I like that explanation because it makes sense, right? It's like there's a unity, a unifying, universal soul. But there's also a part of it that is really us. It's really who we are. And I like that. I really connect with that. And then another thing is that sometimes we think that our soul is something small inside of us. And so I was raised Catholic. So if I bring up Catholic or Christian ways of saying it, please know it's just because of my upbringing. And of course, you guys all know that I believe that all religions and all belief systems, that are based on love, I think those are good. So I think everybody that has a belief system, doesn't matter what it is, you understand, you have your own words for what soul and consciousness is. So I just wanted to clarify that too. But yeah, so when we're not happy, is we have this alignment, right? It's like, this is us, and then this is our soul. And so it's not flowing through us. We're not connected. We're not aligned. And when we can feel that alignment is when we see people that are thriving and happy. And I want to say there's fake happy and there's real happy. And you know the difference. You know what I mean. We all put on a mask. I mean, now with COVID, we literally put on a mask, but you know what I mean. We all pretend in life. So let me take a second I see some comments have been written. Yes, thank you. Yes, for sure. Meditation is the best. Hey, Naeem, thank you for being here. I hope you guys are enjoying this. Meditation is the best. Yes, Stacy, thank you. Oh, thank you, Anisha. Yes, Teresa, thanks for being here. Yes, we're all connected. Exactly. Yes, I know, we're all wearing masks. So now we have like layers of masks, right? And actually, I saw a video. I can't remember where it was, but the lady was saying, I feel so much more comfortable now going in public wearing my mask, because I'm covered up. It's almost like I have an excuse to really hide myself. And I thought that was so interesting and funny, which is true, Okay, so let me continue the topic, and please add in anything you want. I appreciate you guys being here. I'm really enjoying this. Let me know if you like this. Yeah, so the soul and the soul is oh, before I forget, there was scientific studies, and there's a video I'll mention later. I was watching also on YouTube, and it's scientific studies. So now science is really trying to study this. They want to study consciousness, and there's just some awesome findings. So I will mention one. It's in my notes further down, so I'll get to it. So the soul is really not a little chunk inside of us. For those of us that study and read a lot, there's the phrase that your soul is not in your body, you're a body in a soul. So our physical body is inside an energetic body, which is our soul. And some of us, that awareness is, it's like, wow, like, how is that possible? I mean, it's that we have this energetic frequency that has been measured, right? And some people can see auras. When I was younger, I used to be able to see auras around people. It was amazing. And I thought everybody could see it. It's funny. But so when we're sad, unhappy, disconnected, angry, living lower energies, because the world is hard. Our parents made us do things that we didn't want. And so just years and years and years of all of that, we shrunk ourselves, right? And if we didn't have the tools and we didn't know how to really live fully and how to bring, basically, it's like, I remember the way I say it, it's like you were made like you were wrong, right? So there was a wrongness about you. So it was like you're 5 years old and you want to run through the house and scream and be happy, right? Like playfully. But, the grown-ups didn't want that to happen because that wasn't the right behavior or whatever. So you were told to behave a certain way. So all those comments and scoldings, beating, sometimes some people would get a beating, right? There was a wrongness about you. And so you shrunk your energy, you shrunk your light. And so your light's little inside you. So that causes a lot of pain and anger. And as an energy healer, I know that we store these emotions in our body. And so it can become an illness. So, I mean, from experience, usually if somebody has heart problems, lung problems, breast cancer, I'm telling you, I will bet 100% of the time when you listen to the person's story, their journey, they've had some really painful, just heart energy being stored in there. Just, like really bad breakup, really bad, just a lot of love energy that's just gone wrong. And so they store that. So they weren't loved right. They didn't know how to love themselves, and it's okay. We all do that, and so when we don't heal and we don't work on these things and acknowledge these things, our soul the whole time is talking to us and guiding us, right? But we don't listen. We're hard-headed. And so we end up sometimes with a disease or an illness, unfortunately. But yes, so it's so important. So when we start aligning with our soul, or even when we do some energy exercises, which I may do with you guys if you like to try, where we connect to energy above and below and we expand. And this exercise can take a few minutes. And just expanding, just having the awareness of expanding that energy from our heart, that's basically uplifting the frequency that is vibrating from us, from our heart. And so basically that allows us to connect to our soul, because we're reconnecting to who we really are. So let me just read a little bit more of my notes. Well, let me see your comments. What do you guys think so far? Let me see. Okay, thank you. You're really enjoying this. Yeah, we were told a lot of things, and we believe our parents, right, or the grown-ups, because they know more. Okay, so yes, so we'll do a quick exercise. So these things is when we're not aligned with our soul, right? So now here we are, grown-ups, and how can we start that reconnection? How can we begin feeling like happy, like when we were 5 years old? How can we feel that joy and that connection with ourselves? So I have 5 tips that I will read to you in a minute. I wrote them down because I didn't want to forget. But yeah, if you have any questions in the meanwhile, write them. Let me see. I see you tried Teresa says she tries to practice this thing my aunt told me to try to heal physical problems. White light. Yes, Teresa. Okay, so maybe the exercise will help, or maybe it's the same one your aunt told you about. That's amazing. Thank you for sharing that. Okay, so first we have to know, we have to decide, do we really want to change our lives? Because some people don't, and nobody's going to force you. Nobody's going to force you, and nobody can do it for you, right? We're not 2-year-old toddlers. Our mommy's not, changing our diapers type of thing. So it's like we have to be willing, ready, and able to do this. And so I didn't even write that as step 1, but I just assumed. So it's like, are you tired of being tired? I'm tired. Are you tired of, being in the rat race? Are you tired of just being unhappy? Are you tired of feeling unfulfilled? This doesn't take away from your religious practice. Obviously, you have a good connection and a good religious practice. That helps too, So these are some practical tips, and I appreciate you guys. Yes, thank you. Yes, JC, you do. I appreciate that. And okay, Anna, let me see. Okay, so Anna's asking, what is the difference between meditation and energy healing? Oh, good question. Well, meditation is the practice of, the practice of awareness. So it's like the act. So meditation is when we say, okay, I'm going to sit here. Sometimes I meditate right here on my desk, and I just sit here with my hands face up. And if it's comfortable, I just put them on my on my thighs or just on my desk. And I just relax, and I put my feet flat on the ground, and I just focus on breathing, right? So meditation can be a 5-10 minute practice. It can be a 2-hour practice, but it's the actual exercise practice of mindfulness. We talked about that in the episode with Sujan. If you guys want to go back to that episode, we talked in depth about mindfulness and meditation. And so meditation is basically the actual practice. It's almost, I think Sujan explained it also as, it's like when you're preparing for the Olympics, you're practicing, you're doing the work, if you're a basketball player, you're bouncing the ball, you're practicing running, you're practicing the shots. So it's like your practice. So that's what meditation is. And then to follow through with that episode, mindfulness is the awareness that you have throughout the day, which is helpful because you had that meditation practice, right? So you first practice being mindful of your body. So having that mind and body connection, connecting the spirit with the body through breath work. Just noticing your breath is a great way. And then mindfulness can be practiced throughout the day. Now, your question, Anna, is what's the difference between meditation and energy healing? Well, energy healing, we all have a healing power inside of us, and we can practice. And when we meditate is a way of opening up that connection, okay? So when we meditate, we're allowing and we're opening up for that healing to flow through us when you're an attuned healer in whatever modality. I'm a Reiki healer. I know, Anna, you've been studying Reiki too, and there's different practices of energy healing. And we all have that healing energy inside of us. That's one of the things that also Deepak Chopra teaches, is that we're meta-humans, you know, in their studies. You know, Dr. Joe Dispenza also, he healed his own body. That's what he teaches. He was supposed to not be able to walk after an accident. He broke his back in several places. And there's just so many stories of people that have healed themselves. So meditation is the way of connecting with our own body to really reprogram ourselves, and also to allow that healing energy. Thank you. Great question. Okay, so let me get to the practical tips if you guys want, and then we can do some more questions. Okay, great. Okay, thanks. You like that answer. Thank you. Sorry, I gotta drink some water. Okay, so practical tips. So the reunion with our soul. So scientifically, it's been proven that, well, a lot of scientists, not every scientist agrees, right? But that there's a consciousness in that brings life to us, right? Because there are people in a vegetative state, you know, that are, or people, you know, that may be kept alive through machines. But, you know, some people have woken up from years of being in vegetative state, and they say, I heard, I knew everything that was going on around me. Isn't that, excuse me, isn't that amazing? Like, imagine, you know, you think your family member or your friend who's been, you know, in a coma for years, and they wake up and they're like, yeah, no, I was aware, you know? So not all cases, but, you know, the few cases that has happened. So yeah, so there's a lot of science behind this. So our consciousness, our soul, is always there. We shy away from it. And so here's some practical tips. These are some things that I've learned on my own, and things that I've, through the years, like I said at the beginning, that have helped me. Because at one time, I was really feeling lost and disconnected, unhappy with my life. And so practical tips. So, okay, drum roll. I can't do a drum roll, but okay. So practical tip number 1 on how to start reuniting with your soul. Make time alone a priority. So be by yourself, without your phone, no TV. It doesn't mean like get away from everybody, hide in the bathroom and look at Instagram. That's not what I mean. That's a different type of time alone. Really disconnect, if you can, for 30 minutes, if you can for an hour at least per day. If you can't 30 minutes, maybe start 15 minutes if you're really busy. But the more you start doing this, you're going to realize like, wow, I feel so good. And I really think in the morning is better. But if you can do it at night as well, at the end of the day, that would be amazing. Why? Because what you're doing is you want to start listening to your own voice. You know, we get all this programming. So even if it's uplifting things, which is good, but it's like you don't know what you're really thinking. So you really want to connect to yourself and spend time in you know, just in quiet and solitude. So for me, it was easier at the time. You know, my son was about 6 years old, and I think I would do it on Saturdays at the beginning. You know, he was watching cartoons, and I would sit in my room, and I think I used to play a little bit of like high frequency music on the side, and just to help me concentrate. But just sitting there, it also can help if you light a candle. But really, if you can close your eyes and just sit there still with yourself, listen to your breathing, and that's it. And yes, you can practice with like a guided meditation. So the meditation practice is part of it, but I also want to include that it's really about, at some point, getting comfortable with the voices in your head, because we ignore those things. And why is it important? Why is it important to listen to those voices? To be present. Well, because it helps us accept what is. It helps us accept the now. Even if it's and you can practice every hour. Like I have a reminder on my phone, connect to the light, and I just do my little quick exercise, which we're going to walk through. And I think I've shown, and a lot of you here know it, and so, but I'm excited to share with all those that are will watch the replay. And so the point of taking time alone and making it a priority, which was step number 1, it helps us connect to now, to what is. So we're not thinking about what didn't happen yesterday. We're not worried about the problems of tomorrow. We're focused on the now. And that practice alone with time will help you tremendously. So step number 2, or practical tip number 2, is start noticing how you talk about different topics. So what does that mean? So just notice in your day-to-day life, like, what do you talk about? Are you complaining? Are your words negative? When you're positive, what are you positive about, or towards who? Are you judging others? Are you judging yourself? Are you gossiping? I wrote complaining again, but what, just notice in general, like where are your thoughts going? And not just your thoughts, but also your talk. What are you always complaining? Are you draining the energy? Are you just, the negative Nancy? And it's okay. I've been there. I remember in my first divorce, so many people stopped talking to me because I was literally calling them crying and just giving them a detailed, minute by minute replay of what happened. And I mean, wow, I'm embarrassed, now, but that was 20 years ago. But we've all been there, and it's okay to talk about our problems. If you're going through issues, please do talk about them with the people that are there. But I'm saying, just in general, are you just more on the negative side? Are you more on the positive side? Are you sending love and blessings? Or are you, kind of hating the world and cursing everybody out, even if it's, quietly? So I think for me, what that exercise, and I would even actually write this down. I think it's important to write these things down. Maybe at the end of the day, like, oh, I noticed that today I was really upset about this, things like that. Or I started gossiping about this one lady, or whatever. Just kind of track yourself, kind of like how we have a journal for keeping track of our food, all those things. Have a journal or a place where you can really write these things down, and then you start seeing a pattern. That's what we want. So the reason these things help, it's because it can help highlight our biggest pain point, our wounds. Wow. So like, what is your wound? We all have a wound, like not a physical wound, but some sort of emotional wound, it's the story, the sad story of your life. Like for me, my sad story is, like I can't find the right partner, right? So it's about love and relationships, right? Um, and so I try to heal that. And there's ways, maybe another day I'll talk about specific pain points and wounds, So it can be money, like money related. It can be relationships more, it can be relationships like family type relationships or romantic relationships. Um, so many things. And just an overall sadness, depression and sadness. Um, but you start noticing. So if you're judging somebody, let's say, if you notice you're always judging the relationship, like I'll call myself out on this, right? This is so bad. Like, okay, so I'm gonna be so completely honest right now. So sometimes when I'm single, right, and I'll see a couple, right? I mean, they're just like they're holding hands and walking into Target, right? And I'm walking behind them, and I've caught myself, thinking like, wow, like even they can, oh, so bad. Like even they have a partner, like, so I'm comparing myself, right? And I'm making myself feel bad because I see two people in a relationship holding hands and walking into a store. So like that's judging, right? It's like, oh my God, how if she can have, somebody that loves her, how come I can't? So that's the type of talk I'm talking about, you know, and catch yourself, notice those things. What are you complaining about the most? And those are the things that are letting you know, those are the tips, the hints of what is hurting you the most. So if you keep track of what you're complaining about the most, you'll find the root of your pain. What's your biggest wound? So what does these wounds have to do with reuniting with our soul? Well, because we're good at hiding these things, right? So, we don't usually have a mirror to ourselves, and the mirror, we see outwards. But when we start looking inwards, which is what we do in meditation, it's, helping us to be able to really notice ourselves, because what we see in others, I forgot the phrase. Oh, the things that bother us in other people are the things that we don't like about ourselves. So, I can't think of an example, but if something really bothers you about somebody, let's say being late, like, oh my God, I hate it when people are late, and it's like your pet peeve. But guess what? You're also late, So, if in general you're the person that's late, and you notice that you're judging others for being late, that's a hint, right? Okay, let me grab some water and read your comments. I know, Teresa. Oh my God, that's so funny. And I feel horrible when I think that. I try not to think that. If I catch myself thinking, just FYI, if we do catch ourselves thinking that, and if you really are trying to, just be a better person, just flip it, change it, and just kind of send them some love. Like, wow, like I'm happy that they have each other, because we don't know circumstances. They may look happy in that few minutes. We don't know how happy they really are, but appearances are, we're good at hiding things, and people behave differently in public. Okay, let me read your comments here. Wow. Okay, thank you. Oh, thanks for catching the quotes, Anisha. You're so good at that. Number 2, yes. Okay, so we're still on number 2. How are you talking to yourself? Are you draining the energy or elevating it? Yes, thank you. And being aware of our thoughts. Thank you, Anisha. That's exactly it. Number 2. Oh, hey, Kathy. Thanks for being here. We should chat sometime, please. Teresa. Yes, exactly. When we catch, when you see a couple and they're being like amorous, you think that they must have just started dating. I know. Because if you've been together for like 20 years, it's like you're not holding hands, and but some people have different love languages too. So maybe their love language is physical touch, so they may have that. That's why comparing ourselves and judging, it's not a good thing, because we don't really know what's going on. Awesome. Thank you for your comments, guys. I'm going to keep going. I noticed the time. Okay, so let me get to number 3, because I have 5. So we're good at hiding the wound, right? Because it's easier to tell others what's wrong with them than to, notice it in ourselves. I know. And it takes courage to do these things. So that's why if you're really ready for the change, you have to make changes. Okay. So number 3 is related to number 2. Number 3 is get to know your wound. Get to know that root cause of your pain alone. Yes, I said alone. I don't mean with a bottle of wine. I don't mean, have like a conference about it. I don't mean have a Zoom call about it. Don't write a post about it. Like, really get to it alone. Because you know why? Everybody has their own pain points. Everybody has their wounds, and we really need to work on these things on our own. It's okay to have those special people that, we can talk to, but this is really just deep work that we can do by ourselves. So how do we get to know this wound? So after you noticed, let's say, whatever your wound is, your pain point, I'll just use mine as an example, right? So like, I keep choosing the wrong partners, I'm not good at relationships. I don't really think anymore, nobody loves me, but that may be something like somebody would say, So it's like the love and relationships, like I'm not good enough, nobody, how come, whatever. All those things. So when you pinpoint what it is, grab a journal and start writing these things. And in your time alone, when you're meditate or after you meditate, you're really facing yourself and face that pain. I did this exercise for weekends, like I said, on Saturdays. And, and I have a process that I did, and maybe in another episode I'll share it. But basically, this was part of the process, You just really start talking to that wound and to that pain, and get to know it. Ask questions. Just find out what it wants, why it's still there. Why you notice the emotions that come up about it. Are you feeling shame or guilt? Are you feeling just a lot of anger? Just notice the words that come up, and also where you feel it in your body. Like for me, it like stores like right here, and specifically on my right shoulder, my upper back. Some people, it's also your lower back, wherever, you know, some people just really get like really bad migraines or headaches, things like that. So just notice, do it like a body scan. Just really notice where this pain, these emotions are hiding in your body. And then also notice what triggers, you know, that pain. And it's not pretty. It's not a nice thing. Make sure that you have hours to yourself if you do this, you know, on a day that, like, I would do this for like 2 or 3 hours, and I would cry and just release it and just really connect with that. And why do we want to do that? Well, because guess what? We want to really truly accept ourselves as we are. Let me say it again. We really want to accept ourselves as we are. I mean, think about somebody. I mean, it's easier to notice a wound when it's physical. Like, let's say you were in a car accident and, you know, you lost your arm or your leg. So you're missing a limb, right? So it's physically not there. That's a wound that it's easier to see. And people notice it too. So then you're reminded of it. But an emotional wound, we don't see usually, right? We hide it. It comes out in other ways. So that's why step 1 and 2 are so important. So getting to know our wound is really our job. And because it's our job, we're taking responsibility for ourselves and for our happiness, for our well-being. And also we're really, this is just actually a way of showing ourselves love. When we can accept ourselves as we are, you know, without that limb, without, you know, with that wound, that pain, that hurt, you know, and it's okay. This is who I am now, and I'm going to work at getting better, right? So that's self-love. I'm accepting myself as we are. And that's really where I feel that you're really starting to connect, you know, reunite with your soul, with who you really are, not who you're pretending to be. Okay? So you're not pretending to be anybody else. You can look in the mirror and you're like, okay, yeah, I know where my wound is. I know what it is. I know what it's about. I know where it came from, you know, or you're working on it, right? It's like you're not hiding it anymore. And I really think it's important to do this on your own or with the guidance of somebody that can guide you through it. But what I mean is, like, don't make this like a public thing, or, you know, it's really the work that you have to do yourself. So thank you for your comments. Yes, it's how we want to accept ourselves as we are. And the question is it necessary for our healing to find out what caused that wound? Well, some people have to know. Thank you. Great question. Some people really want to know the story, right? But if we attach the story and we really identify with the story of, like, oh yeah, so, you know, my mom used to do this, this and that, and so, you know, whatever. So then, as long as we're not finding somebody else to blame in that story, okay? So let's say if you realize that mom in this example is, you know, caused a lot of issues and pain that, let's say, caused this wound, or, you know, with time, part of the growth is accepting responsibility. And I think we talked about that in healing our inner child with Martha. You know, it's all those things. We have to accept the responsibility, even if it's accepting that that's, you know, that's the best that our parents can do, for example, right? Or even like, oh, well, I was a child. Let's say it wasn't something really bad. Maybe it's money. Well, maybe as a child, I understood my parents fighting about money. And I made this decision about money based on that. So when we can find the root of the cause, it can help us heal faster, because it's almost like knowing how the movie began. It's like if you miss the first few scenes of the movie and then you watch all of it, and then, but it's like there was something like didn't make sense. Well, because you missed that first scene. So if you can make that connection, sometimes it just makes sense, right? And it's sometimes just easier to be like, to let it go, basically accept it, like, oh, okay, that's what happened, cool, move on. And so what I'm saying is, if getting to the root cause can be helpful in that sense, but if you don't know what the root cause is, it's okay, but just don't hang on to it either. Thank you, great question. Hey, Nancy, thanks for your input. I appreciate it. Yes, focusing on love, and put your attention on what is love, and you'll have profound experiences. Thank you. Wow, Nancy, thank you for being here. Hey, JC, thank you for being here, guys. Appreciate you. Yes, our parents did the best they could with the resources they have, just like we're doing now, right? Like we're doing the best we can now with what we have, which basically takes me to the next point, right? So the fourth practical tip on how to reunite with your soul is, through this whole process, you're going to have a lot of questions. So number 4 is ask questions to dig deeper and research for the answers yourself. What does that mean? We want answers. We want them now. I want to know why. Tell me how to do this. Da 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 da. And I think it's awesome to have a guide. But let's say, like, if you were get one-to-one sessions with me as an energy healer or a spiritual coach, I'm not going to be able to give you all the answers. Like right now, this talk, I'm just sharing my experiences. I think I said at the beginning, do your own research, and you have to find your own answers, because that's the best way to learn. And so when we ask questions of ourselves, right? Like why am I feeling, going back to my example of, let's say, seeing the couple walking into a store holding hands, right? And for a second, I'm judging and I'm feeling bad about myself because, oh, they're in love and they're in a relationship, and I'm here by myself walking into Target, and I wish I had somebody to go into the store with me, and whatever. So ask questions and look deeper, like, why am I really feeling that? So it's all kind of the same, going into the same thing with step number 3, but I want to make sure that you're really asking questions, and that some of the answers may come from within when you're meditating, or you can also research. I mean, I have a pile of books that I read, that I've read. It's just a few, and I have my bookshelf back there. But YouTube videos, get coaches, life coach, spiritual coach. Go, seek help, seek more knowledge, right? Because a lot of people have gone through this. A lot of people have studied it. A lot of people have experience with these things. And you'll know what's helpful, what can help you, but you have to do the work. And you can always get guidance with somebody. And most of the time, they'll want you to do the work. So a good coach will not give you all the answers. They'll help you dig deep inside to find the answers. And so that is also helping us reconnect with the higher self. That guide inside us, guess what? That's our coach. That's our soul That's our intuition, and it's loving and caring, and it wants the best for us. So let me get to number 5. The 5th way that you can start reuniting with your soul is to create the life you want by writing your own rules. What do I mean by that? Writing your own rules, start asking part of the questions. What are your values? Question your habits, question your beliefs, your thoughts, your words. Like, notice and really ask, for example, like, I decided to become vegetarian. Well, guess what? I don't live with vegetarians. I wasn't raised by vegetarians. It was a calling inside of me. Nobody told me to be a vegetarian. But there was a lot of things that happened throughout my life that I started and then there was a calling inside of me that, for personal reasons, I just didn't want to, eat animals anymore. And it was a process, right? And I tried, and it's like, I don't know many vegetarians. I don't hang out with vegetarians, basically. I know a lot of vegetarians, but I don't see them or spend time with them because they're in other parts of the country or the world. But so I can't think of one vegetarian friend that I may go here in my city, go have lunch with. But what I'm saying is, like, that was hard, but I was guided to that, and it was a slow process, but became my new belief system. It became my new value, not accepted by my family, not, it was questioned, like, why, you weren't raised that way. That's not how we are, blah, 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 right? Oh, you need protein, whatever. I just politely okay, this is my thing. It's like, I see it the equivalent of, you like chocolate cake or you don't like chocolate cake. I love chocolate cake. It's just preferences. Anyways, so those are the beliefs. So really question your beliefs. Anything about what you eat, about what you wear, how you spend your time, what you read, the music you listen to. I used to listen to, 90s rap. Like, that's what I liked. I used to know all the words to Tupac and Wu-Tang Clan and all those things. And I may have some of the CDs, but guess what? I don't listen to that now because those words, very, very few music songs have uplifting messages, So what words am I listening to? All these things I question with time and time again. And I started making my own rules and my own life and decided. So that felt more aligned with who I really am. That's what I'm trying to say. So it's okay to recreate your life. You're not here to make anybody happy. You're here to be the true version of who you are. That's how I feel. So that's what I believe. That's how we can start reuniting with our soul, right? Because our soul has a mission. It's here for a reason. And when we're disconnected from that, we're not living our fullest life. And that's why we're unhappy, unfulfilled, disconnected. And, I truly, truly feel that it's our responsibility to connect to this and to do our part, which is part of this process. And these were just 5 basic steps. There's a whole lot more. There's a whole lot more detail. Tell me what you think of those 5 steps. Would you do them? How do they sound? Would you be willing to try any of those things? Which one really connects with you? Let me know in the comments. I appreciate you writing them. Anisha, thank you. Let me read the comments. Awesome. Yes. Thank you, guys. I appreciate that. And okay, so we're a little bit past the hour, so I'll just do a 5-minute meditation if you guys want, where we're going to reconnect with, do the process of connecting with our soul. And before I do that, let me tell you about that YouTube video. The YouTube video was titled, "What is a Soul? The Science of the Soul." It was so cool. I mean, they discussed different things, but one of the things they talked was a study or several. Okay, let me just read this. The University of Virginia has 2,500 scientifically studied and proven cases of reincarnation, previous lives. So they show a case of this young guy, this young boy. Basically, he remembered his past life. It was amazing. Like, I mean, I'm not going to talk about it, but if you can, just watch that show. So, you know, that's just proof that we have these different lives that we go through. So just in this one university that has studied this, there's 2,500 cases with proof, like not just the story of somebody saying, oh yeah, this, no, like it is scientifically proven. So they go back and the person can, like this kid, he named his GI Joes, like kind of soldier toys. He named them, I don't know, I forgot the names, but it was like, the parents were like, why would you pick that name? You know, it was like Daryl and Warren and whatever. So, and they were like, why'd you name your GI Joes that? And it was three men's names. And the boy, I forgot how old he was, maybe 4 or 5 years old. And he just told them, oh, because those were my friends. The first, when I went to heaven, basically speaking, the previous life, right? When I went to heaven, those are my 3 friends that were there to greet me, you know, like when I passed away, when I died. He died in World War II. The story is amazing, you guys. You have to watch it. And yeah, so just do research, you know, learn and study and find out what all of this means. If you have something that's like burning inside of you, that's saying there's got to be more to this in life, even if you have a family and a loved one and, you know, and you have a job. I'm not saying go and quit your job and divorce and, you know, run out and leave your family or anything. Start with taking time for yourself, you know, and just do this process on your own. And I know you can do it. And I think, like I said, I went through that process and it helped me really start the healing process. I'm not done by any means. And I mean, just to tell you, like, you know, 5 weeks ago, I started this talk show, but I had this calling, and you know, I have my guides and my angels, and I received messages, and one of the messages I received from Archangel Michael was, and it made me chuckle because I'm meditating and I just hear Archangel Michael say, start a YouTube channel, you know, and I just chuckled. I was like, you know, like angels know about YouTube, you know, and I didn't follow through. I created the channel, but I didn't do anything with it. And so here I am 2 years later, starting it. I'm not really scared of being on camera because I have kind of like the extrovert and introvert personalities. But what I'm saying is like now, like, you know, like I don't like looking at myself on camera. I'm judging myself like, oh my God, my face this, oh my God, my hair, right? So, you know, I'm putting myself out there. And so what I'm saying is if I can do it, you can do it. I'm not saying you have to do this. I'm just following my calling. And I know that you have a gift. You have something that's calling deep inside of you that's just going to bring you so much joy, and that, you know, you can find that purpose and make money with it. You know, my wonderful coach, Jay Shetty, you know, he has an awesome program that's available. It's live your purpose. And he teaches us how to do that. luckily, I already kind of knew my purpose, but the program is great to help you get going with it. So I hope you enjoyed this session. Maybe I'll do a meditation next time, because I think we're running over the time. So I owe you that. And I thank you so much for being here, all of you that were here live. I appreciate all your comments and your support. And please do let me know any feedback. I hope you enjoyed this session. Next week, I do have a guest, and I'm excited. We're coming up with the topic, and it's amazing. Also, please, 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 if you know of anybody that wants to just have a soul talk with me, they can contact me, and we can arrange which Sunday. I go live on Sundays at 2 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. UK. And I truly appreciate every single one of you guys that has been here. Please do subscribe if you don't mind, and follow the YouTube channel. It's called Happy Soul Evolution. I am revamping it and cleaning it up, but I appreciate your comments in there, and subscribe, and also subscribe or follow my Facebook business page, intuitive Esme Gregg. And also feel free to contact me. I'm just going to do a little, just let you know that I am here to serve you, or anybody you know. I do offer complimentary sessions. The first session is complimentary. So please let me know if you're interested. Just message me and have a complimentary session with me. I love referrals, and I appreciate you guys. So thank you again. And I will see you next week at the same time. I hope this was very helpful. Love you guys. Goodbye. Thank you. Many blessings.